Hey, what's up? I'm Jonathan, the scaling consultant. If you're a content creator and a coach and you know you're really good at what you do, but for some reason it seems like your income keeps resetting every single month, don't worry. What I'm about to show you will probably feel like that missing piece of the puzzle that you've been looking for all this time. Because this training isn't about hype, um, chasing trends, or fancy funnels. It's about building systems that create predictability, income, and time freedom. Now, if it feels like your business is completely and entirely dependent upon you right now, relax for a sec. Let's be real right now. If you've been in the coaching game for a bit, you've probably had moments where you thought, why am I working so hard, but my revenue doesn't reflect it? Or why do I struggle to keep finding new clients? The truth is, you don't have a skill problem, you have a structure problem. You're great at what you do, but the way your business is built right now, it's designed to keep you stuck. But don't worry, we're going to fix that today. Here's what we'll be covering: why most coaches stay stuck under 10K a month even when they're talented. We're going to talk about the shift in mentality and structurally. Once you make this shift, literally everything changes. We're going to talk about the three systems that drive every scalable coaching business, which is your offer system, your acquisition system, and your delivery system. And finally, I'm going to help you identify the bottlenecks in your business and how to change them so you can see a massive impact and improvement in the next 90 days. My goal is simple. I'm going to give you a very clear roadmap, and I'm not going to be talking about theory and I'm not talking about motivation. I'm talking about a framework that you can implement today and start executing immediately so you can start seeing the results as soon as possible. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So here's the harsh truth. Most coaches stay stuck under $10,000 a month, not because they're bad at coaching, but because they're trying to scale a business that isn't built to scale. Seems simple, right? But I like to call this the freelancer trap. You're doing literally everything, all the way from lead generation to sales calls to client discovery, content creation, and even admin, all while you're trying to stay motivated, while you're trying to juggle all those hats. But deep down, you know this isn't sustainable by yourself. So whenever me and my team work with a coach, we will handle all the back end systems. So all they have to concentrate on is just content creation, all the things that they already love doing. However, this is why it's not sustainable for you to try to juggle all these hats on your own, especially because coaches tend to be selling sessions, not transformations. They're trading time for money. When your business model relies on your energy, your motivation, and your calendar, you're always going to hit a ceiling. It's not because you're lazy, though. It's because you've built something that depends on you doing everything right every single time, every single day. Let me emphasize this: that's not a business, that's a treadmill. Let's do the math for a second. If you're charging $100 or $200 per session, you need about 50 to 100 clients every month to just barely hit $10 to $20,000. That's insane. That's genuinely insane. One, that's not scalable whatsoever, especially as a one man team, and it's definitely not sustainable. And yet, we see 90% of coaches are doing just that. You don't need more hustle. You need a better model, because right now, what's happening is you're trying to scale effort, and effort doesn't compound. However, systems do. When you start to build systems and implement it into your business for how you attract clients, how you close them, and how you deliver results, that's when you start to see predictable growth. That's when you move from the mentality of I'm trying to make money to actually running a business. So let's talk about what that shift actually looks like. All right, this is the fun part. Let's talk about the shift. Is the moment everything changes for most coaches. Here it is. You don't make more by working more. You make more by packaging a bigger transformation. When I first started working with coaches, I noticed something very interesting. Most of them were charging low ticket prices for high value outcomes. They were giving people life changing transformations, but charging like they were some freelancer on Fiverr. That's why I always say price is not about ego, it's about alignment. When you charge low ticket, you attract low commitment. When you charge high ticket, you attract high ownership. Think about it. When someone invests $5,000 or $10,000 into solving their problem, they show up different. They're all in, they value the process. And this is, believe it or not, the most shocking part. They actually do the work. And here's the beauty of it all right here. That means you can focus on fewer clients, deliver deeper results, and still grow your income. It's not just more profitable, it's honestly, it's just more fulfilling. Now, let's make something clear. High ticket isn't about overcharging. It's about finally getting paid in proportion to the transformation that you create. Because let's just be honest right here, right now. Clients don't pay for time. They pay for outcomes. They want results, they want confidence, and they definitely want speed. They're not buying your hours. They're buying your clarity and your process. So, if you want to scale, you have to start thinking like a business owner, not a freelancer. And that means structuring your business around transformation, not transactions. So here's where we go next. We're going to break down exactly how to build the systems that support that high ticket model. The three pillars that every scalable coaching business needs is your offer system, your acquisition system, and your delivery system. So, when you understand how these three connect, scaling becomes math, not mystery. All right, now that we've talked about why coaches stay stuck and you've seen the mindset shift that happens when you start thinking high ticket instead of high effort, let's talk about the actual framework that makes this real. Because once you understand this, everything in your business will make more sense. Every scalable coaching business is built on three systems. That's it. It's not 27 tactics. It's not 15 different social media platforms. It's just three systems that work together like gears in a machine. And here they are: the offer system, the acquisition system, and the delivery system. Now, I want you to think about these three as the engine that drives your business. Your offer system is what you sell, which is your transformation. Your acquisition system is how you attract and convert clients. And your delivery system is how you fulfill and retain them. If one of those breaks, the entire engine is going to stall. And this is where most people get stuck. They'll try to fix the acquisition by posting more, creating more content, or trying new hooks, when in reality, their offer is the problem. Or they'll try to fix their offer, but their delivery is so manual and chaotic that they can't even handle the growth. Like, scaling isn't about doing more. It's about connecting these three systems so they can support each other. Because when your offer converts, your acquisition becomes easier. When your acquisition is predictable, your delivery becomes manageable. And when your delivery is systemized, you can finally scale without working more hours. So let's start at the beginning, the foundation of it all: your offer. Your offer is literally everything. It's not just a product or a program, it's the transformation you stand behind. It's the bridge that takes your clients from where they are now to where they want to be. If your offer isn't clear, your business will always feel like guesswork, to be honest, because people don't buy coaching, they buy the outcome. They buy the feeling that you understand exactly what they want and can get them there. Now, let's break down the 4 parts of a scalable offer. And as we go, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. Where in your offer are you leaving money, clarity, or confidence on the table? Let's start with part 1, which is define the transformation. If I asked you right now, what's the exact transformation your program creates? Could you tell me in one clear sentence? Like, most coaches can't. They'll say something like, I help people get better results, or I help business owners grow. But that's not an offer, that's a statement. Clarity converts. Here's a formula that I will teach my clients. I help niche go from current pain to desired result in specific time frame. For example, I help fitness coaches go from consistent $5,000 months to consistent $20K plus $1,000 months in 90 days. See how clear it is? You immediately know it's for what the problem is, what the outcome is, and how long it takes. That's the kind of clarity that stops people from scrolling and makes them say, okay, I need to know more. Your clients don't buy coaching sessions, they buy a pathway to certainty. And that starts with a crystal clear transformation. Number 2, set a premium price. Now, let's talk about money, because that's important too. Because this is where a lot of coaches get uncomfortable for some reason. They'll say, who would pay me $3,000 or $5,000 for my program? But here's what I always tell them. The real question isn't who would pay me that much. It's who would trust me with the transformation if I don't even value my own work at that level. High ticket pricing is not about ego. It's about alignment. If you help someone build a $10,000 a month business, lose 30 pounds, or fix their marriage, that's not a $200 result. That is literally a life-changing outcome. And people who are serious about change expect to pay for commitment, because here's the truth. When someone invests $5,000, they show up. They follow through. They respect your time. Premium prices attract premium clients. So let's do the real math real quick. If you charge $5,000, you only need 10 clients to hit a $50,000 month. If you charge $500, you need 100 clients and probably a team of 10 just to keep up with all of them. High ticket doesn't make you greedy, it makes you efficient. It simplifies your business, it increases your profit per client, and it gives you the space to actually focus on results instead of survival. And that's what scaling is all about. More impact, less chaos. Number 3, let's make it repeatable. All right, now that we've got clarity in pricing, let's make it scalable now. If you want to scale, your offer needs to deliver results consistently. That means turning your coaching into a framework, a repeatable process. Here's a simple way to structure it. Phase 1, clarity, which is identify where your client is right now. Phase 2, strategy, build their roadmap to success. Phase 3, execution, implement and track results. And then we got phase 4, optimization, review, refine, and sustain. When you can explain this process simply, it becomes a productized transformation. That's what allows you to train team members, deliver at scale, and still maintain quality, which is something we really need to make sure we double down on because quality is vital, especially for businesses. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what works and being able to repeat it. And then for number 4, position it properly. Now, this last piece, positioning. This is where your offer stops being just another program and starts becoming the obvious choice. Because in a crowded market, clarity beats creativity every single time. Here's how you know your positioning is strong. Your dream clients instantly say, "That's me." Your offer solves a pain they already feel every single day. They can quite literally visualize the ROI before you even explain it. If your offer checks those boxes, you don't need to convince anyone. You just need to present it. Like it's very much that simple. And when you present something clearly, people buy with confidence. All right. All right. So by now, you've got your offer built. It's clear, it's high ticket, and it's actually worth what you charge. Finally. Now, the next question is, how do I get clients consistently without feeling like I'm begging for business every single month? Because let's be honest here, posting content every single day and hoping someone DMs you or book a strategy call with you is honestly, that's not a strategy. That's literally gambling right there. You need a content strategy that converts views into clients. So here's what I want you to understand about acquisition. Consistent client flow doesn't come from doing more stuff. It comes from doing the right things repeatedly. Let me show you the exact rhythm that successful businesses use in order to drive client flow. It's a simple 3-part system that helps any business blow up. I call it the TNT method. The first part is traffic. This is when you create content that captures attention and helps you bring in traffic. Because if no one knows you exist, then you have no customers. And if you have no customers, you have no business. Then we have nurture. This is when your content helps your audience get to know you, like you, and trust you, and see you as an authority figure. Then we have transaction. This is when we identify what your audience wants. Then we build an offer around that. And then we make your product or your service the solution to that problem. It's that simple. That's how you get transactions to occur with your audience. That's how they learn to trust you and eventually want to buy from you. That's literally it. That's the rhythm in a nutshell. You see here, most coaches think that their problem is reach. It's not. The real problem is nurturing. They're posting content that entertains people instead of activating them. If your content doesn't make people think, "That's me, I need this," then they're just creating noise, not demand. Now, let's break that down step by step. If you want content that converts, your content isn't meant to impress, it's meant to connect. Every piece of content you post should do one of these 3 things. It either does 1, expose the pain your audience feels every day, 2, paint a vision of what's possible, or 3, show that you have the roadmap between those 2 points. That's it. Pain, vision, and roadmap. When you repeat that rhythm enough times, you stop being just another coach and start becoming the obvious solution. Now, the key here isn't to post more, it's to post better because clarity converts more than consistency. But when you have both, it's like a glitch in the matrix. Once you create content that resonates, the next step is engagement. This is where most people overcomplicate things. They think they need complex funnels, fancy landing pages, or 10-step automations. You don't. You need genuine conversations with qualified people because in the early stages, feedback beats funnels. The comment sections and DMs are where you learn what your market actually thinks, what objections they have, and what language they use. That's the real data right there. Here's a simple rhythm you can follow. All you have to do is create and post 2 to 3 videos on YouTube every week. Create one high value post per day on all your socials. Engage with your audience in the comments and DMs. Offer value in the conversation, but don't pitch right away. Easily, you'll be able to book 1 to 2 calls a day just off that. That's literally it. That's a business. And typically, when you're dealing with so much people coming in and engaging in your comments, the wise thing to do, at least that's what me and my team love to do when we work with coaches, and it makes everyone's life easier, is we hire a setter and they'll do all the engagements for you. Now, if you follow that for 90 days consistently, you will not be able to recognize your pipeline anymore. Because here's the thing, clarity compounds. The more conversations you have, the clearer your message becomes. And the clearer your message becomes, the more people reach out on their own. Funnels don't replace connection. Apply it once you have it dialed in. Once you have it dialed in, this is when you need to start tracking your metrics. Here's where you start thinking like a business owner, not a freelancer. I want you tracking 3 things every single week. How many leads or inbound DMs did you get? How many calls did you book? And how many clients did you close? That's it. Very simple, straightforward, to the point. Because if you know those 3 numbers, you can diagnose exactly where the leak is. Low DMs? Fix your message. Low call bookings? Fix your offer clarity. Low close rate? Fix your sales process. You can't scale what you don't measure. And once you measure it, scaling becomes predictable. The moment you understand that acquisition is a system, not a sprint, you stop chasing clients and start choosing them. Now, let's talk about system 3, delivery. All right, so now you're signing more clients consistently. Good job. But there's a new problem. Your calendar's full, your brain's fried, and every client needs something different. New level, new devil. Sounds pretty familiar though, right? This is where most coaches hit their next wall. They think the goal is to get more clients, but the real goal is to keep scaling while working less. And that's where your delivery system comes in. Your delivery determines your freedom. You can have the best offer and marketing in the world, but if your fulfillment is chaos, your business will eventually collapse under its own weight. So let's talk about how to build a delivery system that gives clients results and gives you freedom. If you're still selling individual one-on-one coaching sessions at like 1 to 200 a pop, that's your first bottleneck. Selling one-on-one coaching sessions seems like a great idea when you're first starting out, but they're terrible if you want a scalable and sustainable business. So with me and my team, something we would recommend or even try to implement whenever we would work with a client, it will be something along the lines of 1 to 3 group AMA calls or Ask Me Anything calls per week so we can maintain momentum and build community through them. We'll even implement 1 private check-in per month for personal accountability so people can still get that one-on-one access, whether it would be with the creator or the coach or someone on our team. And we would also make sure that we have 1 resource library for on-demand tools and templates. And so the clients have access to the online modules. That's it. That's literally it. Clients get community, support, and structure while you protect your time and energy. This one shift can double your capacity without adding a single new hour to your week. So, this is where we get a little more operational. You need a system that handles about 80% of your delivery without you. That starts with an automated onboarding system. Every new client should automatically get a welcome email with next steps and access links, a client dashboard or portal where everything lives, and a how to succeed video that sets expectations. The beautiful part about all these is that you just got to make it one time. That's it. And it's there for life after that. What makes it even better, you don't need to be available 24/7 to be valuable. Then we systemize communication using platforms like School for organized client communication, where we will set clear office hours, batch responses instead of reacting all day to community questions. When you do that, your clients actually respect your boundaries more, not less, because structure builds trust. And structure also creates predictability for your clients so they know what step they should be on as they achieve their transformation. When your business runs on systems, clients stop depending on your time and start depending on your process. Now, we need to also measure your fulfillment success because if you can't measure delivery, you can't improve it. Here are the three metrics that every coach should track. Number one, completion rate. 70% or higher has to be the goal. Number two, renewal rate. At least 30% of clients should be renewing their experience with you annually. And number three, referral rate. 20% or more of new clients should be coming from referrals. We need to keep a track of these metrics in order to make sure we're outputting the highest quality service to our clients and to make sure our system actually works. Those numbers tell you one thing: whether your program is truly delivering transformation. And when you can deliver consistent results without reinventing the wheel each time, that's when you've built something that's actually scalable. Now, this part is subtle, but it changes everything. It's shifting your identity because you're no longer a coach. You're a CEO who coaches through systems. When you start thinking like that, your energy shifts. You stop being reactive and you start becoming more strategic. Because now, instead of chasing freedom, you're creating it through design. All right, so let's zoom out for a second. We've covered a lot here. And if your head's spinning a little, that's okay because you're starting to see the rhythm. Feel free to go back and rewatch this so you can take more notes and better understand what's going on. But let's bring it all together right now. Your offer system creates clarity, your acquisition system creates consistency, and your delivery system creates freedom. When those three connect, your business becomes predictable. You stop waking up wondering where your next client will come from. You stop worrying about whether your income will dip next month. And instead, you start running a machine that grows with you. And it doesn't just grow with you, it's not against you. This is what I mean when I say scaling isn't about doing more, it's about connecting what matters most. Most people think they need more leads, more content, more funnels. But real growth doesn't come from adding, real growth comes from aligning. When your offer is clear, your marketing becomes easy. And then when marketing becomes consistent, your delivery becomes predictable. And when your delivery runs smooth, your time finally belongs to you. That's the real goal. It's not just about money, it's about having control, having freedom, having a peace of mind. Now, before we wrap up, I want to go over some common mistakes that coaches make because I don't just want you leaving here feeling inspired. I want you to leave feeling equipped. And if you can avoid these four common mistakes, you're going to be way ahead of everyone, of like the 90% of people who are in this space. Let's go through them one by one. The first one is undercharging out of fear. So this one's pretty huge. So many coaches undercharge because deep down, they're afraid of rejection. They think if I raise my price, people won't buy. But the reality is, people aren't buying because your price is low. They're buying when they believe in the transformation. We need to remember that price is not a barrier, it's a filter. When you charge premium prices, you don't push people away, you filter in people who are serious about getting results. Confidence doesn't come from raising your prices, it comes after you do it. Mistake number two, selling access, not transformation. So, this second mistake is selling access instead of outcome. If your pitch sounds like you'll get 8 calls, a Facebook group, and Slack access, you're selling features, not results. Clients don't care about how many calls they get, they care about what changes after those calls. Remember, you're not selling coaching, you're selling clarity, results, and transformation. And when your message reflects that, your conversion rates skyrocket. So let's go over mistake number three, scaling chaos. So this one actually kind of hurts because it has happened time and time again. A coach starts signing more clients, making more money, but behind the scenes, it's an absolute mess. Their systems aren't built, their fulfillment isn't structured, and now they're trapped in a business that feels heavier than a 9 to 5. You can't scale chaos. Scaling magnifies everything, the good and the bad. So if your systems aren't solid, more clients just means more stress. And we need to simplify before we amplify. And mistake number four, changing strategies too fast. So this is probably the most common mistake. It's quitting too early. Most coaches don't fail because the strategy was wrong. They fail because they never gave it enough time to work. They'll change their niche, their offer, their content strategy, all before they ever collected any data before they that could tell if it's even working, really. You can't compound results if you keep resetting the clock. If you want predictable income, you need predictable behavior. So pick your system, stick to it, and give it time to compound on itself. All right, now it's time to take this to the next step. You've seen the framework, you understand the systems, you know what mistakes to avoid, but now it's time to take this from conception to execution. Because information doesn't create transformation, implementation does. So, if you're a coach, influencer, or content creator who loves making content but would like to create or scale your own offer with a proven growth system that aligns your expertise with what buyers want and what scales, now, if that sounds interesting to you, book a free personalized strategy session with me using the link in the description below to see how we can help you and your business. It's just a normal conversation where we'll look at where you are right now in your business. We'll see if we can even help you. And if there's not an alignment, don't worry because you'll still get your own free personalized roadmap to success. Because I want you to leave that call with more value than when you came in. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.